Okay.
Well, welcome again to our 1-year show. Right? Dang, we lasted a year. Wow. Here at East County Voices, formerly known Carlos Taco Show. But I like the second name better. So welcome in, everybody. Miss Patty, go ahead and introduce everybody. I'm going to see if Zimbabwe is on. Let's see. Here we go.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome. Happy Thursday. Like Carlos said, we did it. It's been a year. We've been a year strong, holding these community conversations. If you're not watching now, maybe you'll watch later and learn a little bit about what we're going to discuss tonight. It's big. It's we need it. It's nothing new, and it's at our fingertips. It's at our community's fingertips, and we're going to learn about it. We're going to talk about it, and have some community updates as usual. So welcome. My name is Patty.
Welcome, Nicole.
Hello.
Nicole, welcome. We have an amazing panel today. Our community, we are advocates. The purpose of our shows are always going to uplift and empower each other and share information and talk about the good things happening, talk about the bad things. Because what happened in Antioch was a lot of people activated and made systemic change. And we're going to continue making systemic change through people, through policy, through our power. And we're going to keep doing it. So we can do a quick circle and welcome everyone.
Right.
Welcome, Zimbabwe.
What's up, y'all? Good evening. How y'all doing? I'm on my phone. I made it happen.
I was advocating for Zimbabwe to get on the show.
We did it.
Man,
where there's a will, there's a way. Yes. And so we'll do a quick introduction. We have an amazing panel of advocates today. It's an honor to be in community with you all. So again, my name is Patricia Granados. Arturo, go ahead and introduce yourself. Just a little name, a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. My name is Arturo, and I'm a co-facilitator for the Youth Advocacy Program here in Antioch. And yeah, I mean, I go to school right now to San Jose State. I'm studying marketing for business. And yeah, I'm looking forward to being part of this program and getting to work with everybody and also provide my input.
Heck yeah. What school are you going to?
San Jose State. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Knowledge is power. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Go ahead, Frank.
How y'all doing? Frank Sterling here, Antioch resident, community activist, part of Reimagine Antioch. I'm also work with KPFA Radio, First Voice Media at KPFA. You could find stuff I do at First Voice Media on Facebook. I'm out here in Antioch covering news out here when I can, but also the Bay Area, the state, the world. The world is in turmoil, so I'll be talking a lot about that on my show. So check it out on First Voice Media. And I've also been hanging out here with Carlos and Miss Patty. Sorry about my phone. I thought I just turned it down. And Nicole. And just chopping it up with people, trying to add my 2 cents when I feel like I have something to contribute that's worthwhile. Otherwise, I'll sit back and listen to the people that know what they're talking about.
You always drop nuggets of knowledge, your years of advocacy, decades of advocacy and fight. So we salute you, Frank.
Thank you.
Lauren, go ahead.
Hey, we're just doing introductions.
We are. Welcome.
So I'm Lauren Dalbert, program manager with RCF Connects co-founder of Comment Studio. And yeah, just to here to hang out and be part of the conversation this evening.
Thank you. Thank you for
Nice.
joining
Welcome,
us.
welcome.
Zimbabwe, you are next on the panel.
Yes, indeed. Good evening, everyone. My name is Zimbabwe Davies. I'm the TAY Foster Youth Project Manager. I'm also a former foster youth myself and have over 20 years working in youth development with foster youth and youth in probation. And I'm here for the rich conversation, the different perspectives, and some of the same perspectives as well, and to get the work going.
Sweet. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to hear what you've experienced and any knowledge to continue to contribute and share to our communities. Thank you for being here. Miss Nicole, community advocate, auntie, how are you? Welcome in again.
Hey. I'm good. I'm better now. I'm a little upset about Georgia Pacific, but I'm okay now. I've had time to woosah.
Yeah. You were out there. Thank you for updating us with what's going on the streets out here with our gentlemen, our folks, our hard labor workers that are being overworked and underpaid. So thank you for being here. And, maybe you can fill us in on an update here on the podcast tonight.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tonight the topic of conversation is guaranteed income. Guaranteed income. What is it? What does it look like? What are the possibilities? So to our community out there, guaranteed income has been around for some time in different forms. And we have some opportunities coming up, citywide, countywide, statewide, nationwide down the road to close the gaps of economic justice, economic disparities that we have in different communities. And that may be a long-term, short-term also solution to just ending poverty, maybe diminishing, reducing violence, because ultimately people that are going through it and, in different communities, maybe just a little bit of financial help or investing in people that have a vision that just need that little bit. So we'll talk about guaranteed income tonight. But to start, let's go around and talk about poverty and being rich. What does poverty mean to us, and what is being rich? If you want to choose poverty, what does it mean? What does being rich mean to us? I'll go ahead and kick it off with I'm hella rich. I'm so rich because I'm rich in culture, I'm rich in family, I'm rich in my community, and I'm thankful for all the connections and people that are with this, with what we do in our community. So that's it with my richness. Anyone else? Feel free to unmute and just let us.
I'll dive right on in. And one of the things I think about with poverty, what is poverty? And an example is me growing up in West Oakland in a neighborhood called Ghost Town, and not being born in the crack era, post Black Panther era. So just to set the stage, not having access to going to healthy, food stores and grocery stores, and also going to schools where we don't have the best books, we don't have the best education, and it goes beyond money, right? And so money is a huge aspect of being in poverty, but when you don't have access to a hospital that's near to you, or healthcare, and just the things that we all need, things that we need as human beings to not only survive but to thrive. And so growing up in a violent community, and growing up in a community where there was a lot of police brutality, that's the poverty. And I also want to agree with what you were saying in terms of being rich. Like that also goes beyond money. Being rich in culture, being rich in spirit, being a part of this collective right now. This is rich. This conversation is rich, and the work that we do every day in the realm of social justice, advocacy, and leadership is rich. And I've carried that with me. And one of the things I always say is, it's a Jay-Z line. This is not the life I chose, but rather the life that chose me. And so since I'm in it, I want to create the impact that I was meant to create while I'm here with a group of great people.
Wow. Mic drop. Thank you, Zimbabwe. Indeed. And, going back to the Black Panthers, I know back in the day, they did create a system to uplift their communities with food. And there's a lot more medical. And so it's been, there's a big debt that's owed. There's a big debt that's owed to our communities. Thank you for sharing that. That's deep. Anyone else want to dive in before I go into the next question?
I'll say a little bit. I mean,
Okay.
you know that I personally feel that I'm rich because I'm still alive after having cancer, and you already know the history of my family.
Yes.
My dad's gone, my sister's gone, my grandmother's, my aunts. Like, I'm still in monitoring. I'm not safe, but I'm still here. So what I'm doing while I'm here is using every breath I have to fight to make it better for everybody else, and that's giving me life. So whatever happens, happens. But at this point, everything is great. So that's the most important
energy
thing now.
Yes, Queen. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Frank, I saw you were about to say something.
Yeah, I'm just unmuting. Yeah, I think there was a lot of wise words came out there, and I think having that richness also goes the other way. That if you have a deficit in either the monetary, the spiritual, the community, those are forms of poverty as well, not just the monetary. That you could suffer without having community. I know a lot of I'm here at my grandma's house, keeping an eye on her in the night because she's in hospice. And I think one of the things that in the end, she could have used more community. I wanted to get her down to the senior center. We never got it. And then she kind of, aged and just got a little older. But having, kinship, folks to work with, discussion, keeping your mind working, all that is part of the richness. And you could be in poverty in those areas as well by not, a lot of times you might be not commuting with nature and getting out into the Black Diamond mines or down to the river, to do stuff nearby, examples. And so that too could lead to, a deficit of, having those experiences. So I feel what you're saying, but of course, in this monetary system we live in, having that money can also lead to healthier food choices. As Zimbabwe was saying, you can choose to send people to private schools. You could choose not to work so hard maybe and do like labor intensive work that's going to like shorten your life, or maybe even dangerous work, as we were talking about the local 6 where they're breathing that dust all the time. Out there like that. So you could choose to maybe not work in a field like that and have other choices. So yeah, it opened a lot to hear the conversation and where people took that. And so I think I wanted to just kind of think like, what if you don't have, besides not having money, what if you don't have that community, that help? That is, even if you are rich in the monetary world, you could be just in your own silo and not have that community, those interactions, that dialogue, that experience. So I'll leave it at that, but thank you all for that.
Thank you. We'll jump into actually what is guaranteed income, and we have a subject matter expert in here, Lauren. And after he breaks it down for us a bit about what guaranteed income is from his perspective and sharing it with our community, we can get into the cost of living and then hearing from a recipient himself, Arturo. So, Lauren, if you can tell us about guaranteed income. School us. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I'll actually relate it to your question about being rich, or being wealthy and being poor, and that is for me at the core of the need for some kind of basic income, because a lot of the conversations that you'll hear around basic income, whether it's guaranteed basic income or universal basic income, which is the distinctions are that universal basic income, that implementation would go to everyone, and then even wealthy people, and then those who say might be over a particular income threshold would be taxed, the income would be taxed back from them. Whereas guaranteed basic income is usually set up for a particular group of people, some sort of protected population. And so, two examples of federal government guaranteed basic income. One is Social Security, that once you hit a certain age, and if you have worked and paid into that system, then now for the rest of your life, you will receive a monthly payment from the federal government, which you don't have to work for. Basically, in this case, you've already worked for it, and there's no restrictions on how you use it. Another example is the disability payments that I get from the VA, which are another form, or that Patty also gets from the VA, are forms of guaranteed basic income for military veterans who have been harmed during their military service. And we don't have to work for that income, nor are there any kind of restrictions on, or we don't have to take any classes or anything to receive this income. And basically, the federal government has to go broke before that program would end. And so it's a form of income that brings a whole lot of stability and a whole lot of peace of mind, because you know that at least if you can't work, you know that you do have some source of income to support you. And so what we're talking about is guaranteed basic income here in the county and across the state. And so it would basically be a form of, if it's implemented, or when it's implemented here in the state, it would be a form of income for all Californians of a particular demographic who probably are underneath a certain threshold. That income would go to everyone in that group. And some of the benefits folks have already talked about are, the part of our theory of change is about getting our communities out of a survival mode, because survivors survive off of those around them, whether it's by asking or by taking. But when you have an entire community that in many cases might be experiencing generations of being in survival mode, and that means all of your life's plans start from that place, and often there is no future when you're in survival mode. And part of the research about guaranteed income is that if you give folks enough money for a long enough period of time, about $1,000 a month for 18 months, it allows them time to decompress, de-stress, be able to breathe, and then slowly begin to plan for the future 3 months out, and the future 6 months out, and the future a year out, and the future 18 months out. But that's the kind of space that's why we're advocating for guaranteed income, because we believe that is going to be part of the sources of us being able to create positive community transformation. But it requires us being able to empower our communities, and we can have all kind of advocacy courses and all kind of leadership courses and all that stuff, but we ultimately do need to have some folks who can move out of apathy and into a space of agency. And you can't really think about that stuff if you're not full. It's only when you're full that you can really begin to think about, well, how can I support those around me, and begin to share. And so that's what that's the space that guaranteed basic income, we believe, will support for our positive community transformation. Because a lot of times we're trying to do community work with each other, and we're all starving, and we're all at the times at each other's necks and stuff, and stuff. A lot of that stuff will go away once we're full. We'll have a lot more patience with each other. We'll be less irritated. We'll be far more future oriented. And back to what you were talking about, wealth and poverty. The source of poverty, in my opinion, is that there is too much concentrated wealth in too many in a small group of people. And we hear about the Jeff Bezoses or the Elon Musk, the $100 billion man, but those people are not the main problem of why so much wealth is being sucked out of the economy. The average age of those individuals are around 71 years of age, and they have gotten, because they have been investing and doing well at investing for so long, but that's all they know how to do is accumulate wealth, that they have basically sucked so much wealth out of the economy that pretty much anyone 30 and under, they're guaranteed to do worse than their parents now, purely because there is not enough free wealth in our economy for that younger generation. So you'll hear a lot about the conversation around guaranteed basic income and it being focused on where the most harm has been done in our society, or the folks who need the income the most. But I believe if we get an implementation of basic guaranteed income, it will serve all of those folks. But the way that I see it, the conversation is really about a generational conversation, not a small demographic. So basically, young folks 30 and under, that those are the folks who have the most to gain, because going forward, this economy is simply not going to be working for them. And it doesn't matter what race, what religion, it's a age thing. And so this is for the way I see it, a tool to ensure that going forward, younger people like Arturo will have an opportunity possibly to chase the American dream, which is pretty much dead right now for them. And they know it. They've stopped dating. They're not interested in marrying. They stopped buying houses because they knew they couldn't buy houses a long time ago. So on some level, these young folks know that this economy is not going to serve them, but they don't know what the answer is. And so that's why I believe that guaranteed basic income can be that answer for our younger folks across the board. And so, yeah, I'll open up the road, leave some room for somebody else to talk now.
Thank you, Lauren. There was a name missing of the greedy organizations and businesses. Nicole, do you want to shout them out?
Which ones? The CAA, Georgia Pacific? How many you want me to talk about?
As many as
BlackRock, Blackstone,
the Koch brothers.
The Koch brothers, billionaires who don't want to pay their employees. Like literally, billionaires can raise $70 billion for Trump, but don't want to pay their employees who are at risk of getting cancer because they're breathing in fiberglass and all this other crap because they're making wall boards for everyone's homes. I mean, we're all benefiting from their work because we live in dwellings and what they build is inside of the walls. But yet you don't want to pay these men a couple more dollars.
And it's not only that, they don't want to pay taxes, and they are some of the top contributors. I just heard that 10 pharmaceutical companies were indicted, and their executive were indicted for flooding Houston, Texas with like 70 million opioid pills. And they were funneled in through pharmacies. So there's also some pharmacies that are involved in this. And they were doing this, under the umbrella of operating legal businesses. So, that's part of the problem, is that I tell folks, we don't need any more successful capitalists. We need folks who are what we like to call social entrepreneurs, who have a Robin Hood syndrome, which is what Comment Studio is all about. It's our community enterprise where we practice social entrepreneurship, and we have a Robin Hood complex that instead of robbing from the rich and giving to the poor, We're building a creative team who can go and play in the deep end of the global marketplace and figure out how to bring the resources, and I mean resources, I mean cash money, into our communities. Because I haven't been in this work very long, but I've seen already that with all of the government programs that are designed to help and provide the things that we don't have in our under-resourced communities, and all of the resources that are out there from private philanthropy, very little of it gets into the hands of the people who are trying to change their communities. And so, if that's the case, instead of waiting for other wealthy people or other wealthy foundations to give us money, we'll bypass the middleman, go directly to where a lot of them got their funds from, and then we can allocate the funds. We don't have to go and ask the board of supervisors like we're going to be doing on October 22nd for $5.75 million to do guaranteed income work in the county. If we can build a robustly profitable community-led enterprise, then that can generate that much money and more, then that is the beginning of us being able to have sustainable change in our communities. And it doesn't require everyone. It just requires enough folks who have an altruistic heart, meaning that they're willing to take a loss for others in order for the others to benefit, and two, have an entrepreneurial mindset and basically have ideas, and you see solutions to problems. And because that's the main thing. A lot of us, we see the problems, but we don't see solutions. And so those are the folks that Comment Studio is looking for in the community, who are the innovators, who see solutions to these problems that the government can't implement because of a lot of different reasons, whether it's at the state, county, or city level. But community members can do that. And this is happening around the globe. And so it's not a pipe dream. While we do have delusions of grandeur, a delusion's only a delusion till you make it a real illusion. And so that's our plan, is to figure out how to make change in that space. Heidi, I know you got an agenda, and I'll take up all the space, so I'm about to be quiet.
No, you're good. Thank you. Right on cue. Because I know we gotta respect Arturo. You gotta cut out shortly, and Zimbabwe. But before you leave, education is expensive, y'all. Education's expensive. The transportation is expensive. To live is expensive. Rent is expensive. So as for students that need this help, and we could hear it from Arturo himself. He was a recipient of one of these many programs. And what did it do for him? We're going to hear about it. And it's difficult because not everybody has these resources. As a veteran, I had resources. I was able to get paid. I was okay, but I felt guilty because not everybody was able to do or get, but we also had to put our lives on the line and serve in order to get this. So Arturo, tell us about your journey, your what was it like, and where are you now?
Yeah, I was part of the pilot program earlier this year, which was also during my spring semester here at San Jose State. And so, starting off, I mean, right off the bat, it helped me pay off the payments for school because I had done the payment program, the payment plan, which would be split up within 4 months throughout the semester. And then the majority of it really went to gas because I still live in Antioch and I'm out here commuting, I want to say 2 days a week. And yeah, it's a long commute. Traffic is crazy, but it really did help out with that, with gas. For supplies, I know most of my classes are all tech based, so I had to get chargers, adapters, and it was a huge help, definitely. And also with meals too, because like I have classes spread out throughout the day, so I'm here pretty much all day. And so, whether it's a quick coffee or a lunch essentially, um, it was much needed for sure. And I want to say now, um, it's helped me. It's helped me also kind of be aware of like my spending habits. So it definitely gave me insight on that, learning to like not eat out all the time or buy unnecessary food like coffee. I reduced the coffee a lot, so um, it's really helped me a lot with financial literacy, I want to say. Um, so yeah.
Okay, and if you don't mind me asking, how much how much were you getting with this pilot program monthly?
Yeah, with the pilot program, I was getting about 300 monthly,
Okay,
and it would be charged into this debit card. And
awesome.
yeah, I want to say all in all, I think I had about 100 to 150 just to spend it on
Mm,
what I had myself. Um,
mhm.
so yeah.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
That talk about a good investment. Don't mind me if you don't mind me asking, how old are you, Arturo?
I'm 22. Yeah,
22.
yeah,
22 years wise. You have a lot ahead of you. I'm excited for what you're going to grow into in the field that you're getting into. You said marketing?
yeah. Marketing.
Marketing is great because you're sharing information.
Hmm.
You're gonna learn about like the different platforms, how to share, how to spread awareness, and
Hmm.
so yeah, like it's gonna be a great journey, and I'm happy that you were invested in, and I hope that we can continue to invest in many more youth, different folks in our communities. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Is it a hard stop for you at 8:30?
I could leave like in a couple minutes if anything,
It's
but
all
yeah.
good. Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for sharing. And looking forward to your success and what you will
Thank
bring
you so
back to
much.
the community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yes,
for having me here. It
for
was
sure.
amazing. It was amazing.
It's chill. We don't have a big following, but this is for by us community, for our
Mhm.
community, and we're gonna keep going.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Uh,
So income and opportunity disparities. I touched on that a little bit because life is about decisions, but it's also about the opportunities and resources available in our communities. And what I learned, what many of us learned here in the city of Antioch, is that we were under resourced, misfunded, underfunded. But since 2020, we've had some changes. And Zimbabwe left too. I didn't say bye. But thank you, Z, for joining us. Thank you for contributing. He's out now, but great to have two amazing advocates in the space. And we still have Frank, Lauren, Nicole. Let's keep talking about it. Um,
I could add a little bit.
yes, bring it
Yeah,
on.
because back I can't remember the year now, but it was probably about 2007 or 2008, um, as the landscape in California changed, years prior, for Native Americans and tribes could start doing gaming, and many of the tribes down where my people come from were doing it. And what they started doing for us, that, I mean, I don't know if this would end up being guaranteed because it was on the whims of business, so it could rise or
Mm,
fall. But
mm,
after the tribe made investments and started getting stable, they were giving us grocery gift cards. I was getting a $400 gift card
mm,
for Food Co. and
mm,
a $600 Costco card a month for groceries. And before, even a year before that, I started getting dental and health care. So I didn't have to worry that I had a messed up tooth and now it's just going to get worse until it hurts and swells up and I'm messed up. I could actually go in and it's not like super insurance, I feel like, because when I had to get something done, I was amazed at how much even a person with insurance has to pay. Um,
mm,
but they're big on the preventative maintenance. So I get to get my 2 cleanings a year for free. I just go to the dentist and it's taken care of. If you want to get the gas or stuff like that, you got to come out of pocket. But just
mm,
those simple things that really help you out. When I see a couple of my friends have a messed up tooth and they're over here sticking clove oil on it and just trying to, like, do stuff, I'm like, go to the dentist. I'm thinking, and I know that, like, they just can't go sometimes. It just ain't that
mm,
easy. So
mm,
having that comfort and flexibility for me to be able to go and not really worry about that, and then do all that food that they were helping me take care of when I was at that time doing more labor intensive jobs, framing, roofing, electrician, and it was making a tremendous difference in my life. At one point, they did, I was a renter, but they did home improvements, a $2,000 check to do home improvements. If you were a renter, you had to purchase like appliances or stuff that you could use at your house and then take with you when you moved. So I got a refrigerator, a washer and dryer that was reliable, stuff like that. So that stuff for me, it made a tremendous difference in my life. And as I've moved on and the tribe has been able to move on, and they have came with financial benefits as well. It's helped me in the hard times when I've been working part-time. My position at the radio station where I worked at for 16 years got cut. So they cut my position in 2023. So I've only been getting fill-in work. But what it has done for me is if I consider the tribal benefits that I get as a form of guaranteed income, it's freed me up, as you know, Patty, to be in the community. And I really felt what Lauren, I got you small right now because I was doing research. Let me open up again. Lauren, it had me thinking when you said that when we're full, we'll be able to give to others. And that's what I feel like it's enabled me to really be, is out in the community, to go videotape, to be on KPFA now when they are not paying me. I could still provide the content for that show from Antioch, Richmond, wherever, other states around the world. So it's really freed me up, as you said, to give back to my community and not just be a taker, but a giver. And so I feel like that was a tremendous benefit to me. And there's a famous quote, I think it was Alice Walker, that she said, this kind of work that we're all doing, even this conversation, is the rent that we pay in this world to be beneficial, good people in this world. So I feel like it's enabled me to be able to pay that rent as well, to be out there and be able to spend time doing that. And I feel like that's what has given me I know a lot of pride in my work when the apprenticeship program was still going at KPFA, when I got to give back, and we were like the each one teach one kind of method, speaking of the Panthers, where we trained each other. And then as we rised up, we trained people below us. They trained the next ones, and it just was like an escalator. So I'm kind of drifting off into the weeds, but that's what the tribe has helped me to be able to do, is to be able to be out in the community, to be able to go to court support for the Quintos tomorrow morning instead of having to get to my job early in the morning. Actually, I am, Friday's my big work day, actually. So I am squeezing my actual radio work a little bit, but it's because I'm going to record the Quintos event and then put it on the show that night. So I'm really pinching my time, but it's enabled me to be able to do these things. And I liked what you said, Lauren, about being so full that you could just give back now. You don't have to worry about still, collecting and surviving. You're okay. You could help this guy. You could do food. You could help your friend that's been struggling. You can give back to the community. If you're an artist, you can create. Just think of all the artists that don't even have time to create because they're the starving artists, and how our world would be without that art. So I feel like we eventually need to get to that Star Trek realm where money is not the personal wealth is not the goal in life, but it's being part of your community, and that everybody, the artist, the poet, the worker, the tinkerer, the media makers, the cooks, everybody's got their place, and you get to fit in where you can, not where you have to survive. And I'll leave it there because I just felt good about that saying about being full. So thank you for that, Lauren.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I'm glad you spoke, because you basically identified my role in this work is I'm the tinkerer. And that's me. I'm always tinkering with stuff, trying to see how things work, but also have visions for how to make things better. And some of the examples for guaranteed basic income actually come from the private sector. So, for example, in Alaska, they have been receiving annual dividend payments because of all the oil money that was up there. And it was actually implemented by Republicans, not Democrats, because it was, and the way they framed it was, look, we could give the money and pay this money in taxes to the government, and then they can distribute it to you, or we can give it to you directly. And I forgot about how long they've been receiving it, but they don't even view it as like a form of guaranteed income, because guaranteed income has been associated with the social safety net, which has a lot of negative, stigmas attached to it. To us, we don't. We see guaranteed basic income as a separate thing, not part of the social safety net. We see it as more of an investment in community, more so than providing a community with basic assistance or public assistance. And that's the same way they see it in Alaska. So they don't see it as a form of guaranteed income. They see it as a birthright, for being an Alaskan. Also in Oregon, I believe that in Eastern Oregon, they are providing dividends from all, we have these wind turbines across the river over here in San Joaquin. I think that's San Joaquin County. And so in Oregon, the revenue generated from those wind turbines and those wind farms provide revenue to folks who live in those counties where those things exist. And so a lot of this work is already being done by the private sector. And that's the work that we're doing now, is trying to get to public funded at the state, and then in 10 years have federal guaranteed income or some sort of basic income policy for everyone in the country who needs it.
And I'm thinking when you talk about public dollars and funding, if there's ever a narrative of people out there that say, oh, those are our tax dollars, it should be spent somewhere else. And all I'm going to say is that we've spent lots of our tax dollars to go in spaces to fund folks in positions that have historically and to this day continue to terrorize, oppress, and violate people's rights across the nation. Across the nation. I watched a new video today and I cried. It made me cry. And it's so re-traumatizing for African American and Black community and every community that's been affected with police brutality. But historically, it's always been the African American and Natives. But it's sad. So it's time that investments and our funding, our tax dollars go into the communities. Our tax dollars should go into our spaces, into our people that are doing the work to heal, because there's generations of healing that we need to do in our communities. And part of it is going to be by just continuing to talk about it, but ultimately policy change, policy and systemic change. That's the goal. That's what we're here for. And yeah.
Patty, you and I are veterans. Yes. And I don't know if anyone else in the space is a veteran.
Miss Nicole.
Miss Nicole is a veteran as well. So we're all veterans, and so we understand how much the military costs and how much it's really out of whack we spend on the military. And think about right now, we're about to get involved probably in another war, and how much money, because when they talk about supporting Israel and how many billions of dollars go to Israel, we're not giving Israel billions of dollars. We're giving Israel billions of dollars in weapons of destruction. And so, and they're being used, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, for basically creating what I'm calling the Palestinian and the Lebanese Holocaust. You know, the survivors of the Jewish Holocaust in Germany are now practicing the same, because they've been tainted, and once a culture gets tainted by that, you know, it's difficult for them to not practice that when they come into power. And so that's, and to see how many millions or billions of dollars of our tax money are going to basically genocide several other cultures troubles me. Not just because of the dollar amount, but because I'm a code warrior, and you know, I was trained that we were spreading peace and love and democracy around the world, and now we're supporting someone who isn't, and is actually doing the opposite. But it's not new for America, because I can remember in the 70s or 80s when the same conversation was being had about South Africa, and even back then I couldn't understand, why is America the only nation not condemning what South Africa is doing? And but you know, to get back to the finances of it, all of that money that we're spending for that cause could be used here to be providing services for our people, because the folks in Israel, they get free medical care, they get free college, they get all kinds of free support that we don't get here. Yet so much of our money is going to them so that they can break international laws. So that's where we need to be really pushing about systems change, you know.
Definitely. And I think that goes to the point you just really, capped off, but Patty was making, is that it's unfortunate, but we don't get to choose where those tax dollars go unless we change a law or make some sort of bill that directs the monies there. And that's what the people need to work to do. And when that happens, we'll get the basic guaranteed basic income. I forgot the exact terminology, but we'll get that, and someone can take it away. But the thing is that, as you mentioned, Lauren, about I'm right with you on the issue of our money going to this genocide. It's, if you don't want your money going somewhere, you have to work within the system, apparently, for now, to try not to make the money go there. That's what the protests are about, to try to defund the weapons and the money in weapons going to Israel. But on the flip side, if we are trying to do something like this guaranteed basic income, we work towards that. And the people that are the naysayers in it, it's just like we're feeling right now. We don't want our money going to these places and those places. But unfortunately, the people have spoken, and that's where the money gets to go for now. And this would be way more of a benefit, of course. What we are trying to do, in my opinion, using an I statement here, I feel that this would be much more of a benefit with our dollars, the work that Lauren is presenting. And just imagine one shipment worth of that money, Lauren, going to your ideas, to your programs, to the programs for the people, what we could do with one shipment of the billions worth.
That's beautiful.
Do you have like an estimated cost? Are you into the financial part of it? Like how much it would cost for like a city or a state or a county, or, what's the budgeting if you have that? If not, not a big deal. I'm just curious if, how does it come out, or does it cost the state like 50 billion a year, 10 billion a year?
So we were instrumental in getting a piece of legislation labeled AB 2263 all the way to the governor's desk, but he vetoed it. But if he would have signed it, that piece of legislation would have created an 11-member coordinating council at the state level to begin to look at infrastructure, funding streams, and priority populations for the first state level guaranteed income program. And so eventually I will be able to answer those questions for you, because my goal is to, if not me, some other Contra Costan be sitting on that state level coordinating council to really look at all the pilots that are taking place across the state, but also across the nation, to basically identify best practices and everything for an implementation here in California, and as well as looking at what will be the initial cost for the first priority demographics that will be participants in this program. So right now, I haven't a clue, but I hope that that isn't the case beyond next year, because I'm hoping that we can get it back to the governor's desk next year, and that we can get it signed next year.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, at least do that exploratory. At least look at it, you know?
Yes, exactly. And
Or
so
the
that's what
panel.
that space is for, is not really to create a pilot or a program, but to begin to explore what that's going to look like.
Going back to the vet, like how much money we're sending, I was optimistic in the beginning. Like I would tell Frank, you know what? Maybe we're paying the salaries of troops, of soldiers, just to hold it down, get like a atmospheric something to like strategically get Israel like out, hold them accountable. Like part of me is still hopeful in that they will be held accountable on a worldwide, but then again, it's like we're here. People are still dying. Children are still getting terrorized, families tormented, communities torn apart. Like I can't say that anymore. I can't. So, yeah, where our money is getting funded and where it's getting invested. Imagine if they would invest that in some huge military ships and clean up the ocean and undo like all of the climate damage that we've done as human beings, leaving this massive carbon footprint everywhere we go. That would be another way that the military could be useful with their resources. Wishful thinking.
So many things. There's so many things. Like Tupac said the best. There's money. They can't feed the babies, but there's money for war. Like I don't understand why. Well, I do understand, but that's another conversation. But it's only important for some reason for us to support genocide. It's never important for us to take care of home, because for some reason taking care of home first is never the first priority, you know. And there are some things that we can do also collectively together, since we know the government moves slow and never wants to help us anyway. So it's crazy, because I was telling someone that I was looking at when everybody was gathering together for Frankie Beverly. Like I love Frankie Beverly too, but like there's all these thousands and thousands of people, right, gathering together to celebrate his life. So now, of course, me being a numbers person, I'm looking at all those people. If everybody gave just $1, just think if they gave more, but if all those people gave just $1 to a pot, what we could possibly do if we put that money together. You know, just like people wasting money paying rent to go see Beyonce. It's so incredible to me. Like people fall over that girl like she is the Lord, and she's not. They have billions of dollars, and you somehow think in your mind that it's important for you to pay rent to go see her in a concert when she has enough money to literally let you see her for free. But instead of her giving you a reasonable price ticket because she's gonna sell so many, she's making you pay rent to see her. And people can't logically think, oh, well, duh, I could use that money for something else. How about we help some homeless people? Or how about we feed some people who have nothing? Like, but no one ever thinks of the giving to someone else. It's always about, oh, me and what I want. And well, I work hard. I should be able to not pay rent and go see Beyonce. You should be able to, but if you can't afford to, that's just stupid. And you could have spent that money somewhere else. You know what I mean? I just wish more people had a heart of charity and a mind of charity, because we actually would be in a better place. We would be better off. We really would, if people thought more about let's help others.
No,
instead
absolutely.
of being selfish. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. We have Don Carlos here that's been feeding communities for decades.
Yep.
And he could speak to that too. Tell us, Carlos, what have you in your, and tomorrow's a special day. Don Carlos is going to be getting honored, I heard.
Oh yeah. yeah over at in Martinez. So I guess they wanted to,
they're gonna be out there. We're all gonna be out there.
say my name and yeah, I mean, I'm honored, but I didn't do it for that, and I
Recognition.
appreciate it. But that's just who I am. I always help people. I know what it's like to be without, and it
Exactly.
seems like those who know that are the ones that help more.
And
You
Carlos
know,
cooked breakfast and lunch for the guys at Georgia Pacific while they've been out on strike. Breakfast and lunch in that heat.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
was fun.
That's
Yeah,
advocacy.
I
I wish
rolled
I
some
could
of
do it
those
again,
burritos.
huh?
Mm.
I was the burrito roller, the breakfast burrito roller.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Thank you
And
so
it was
much for
over.
helping me, Frank.
My
Frank helped me
pleasure.
out
My
big
pleasure.
time.
Y'all are champs, champs, champs.
Let me just say one more thing so I can not like leave them out. So also just so everyone knows, the Koch brothers are not just billionaires, but they're billionaires who constantly made profit even during COVID. During a shutdown of our entire economy, they're still pulling and turning over profits, just like Kaiser did. But they don't want to pay these men a decent wage when they're subjected to cancer and someone's already died of cancer and all the other things that they put up with at this plant. They care nothing, zero about these men. They basically told them take it or leave it. They were on strike for 4 weeks and
Yeah.
they still got offered the same crap. They would not take their proposal. They're like, either you come back or you're losing medical, your pay, and basically we're going to replace you. So, yeah, you're going to sign this crappy contract or you got to go.
Oh
So,
my.
my thing personally is the Koch brothers got to be taken down. I'm not okay with that.
Uh-oh. Okay, watch out, Miss Nicole. Look, I'm with you. I'm gonna rock with you wherever we need to go. We're gonna keep raising the awareness. That is sad. That's a shame. That's sad. Um, no, and this is why we have this platform to talk about it because over a year ago, Carlos, our other host Mary, and our community, there was a need because things were happening. There was a lot of misinformation on the local bloggers doing what they do, and I was like, look, and we talked about it. In order for us to keep moving systemic change, we have to move as fast as video and talking about these things every opportunity we can. We can't just do a post on Facebook. We can, but
No,
when we
not
connect
enough.
and share and we have the ability to then share the link and share the information and keep the community informed. So thank you, Carla. If it wasn't for Don Carlos here, this wouldn't have been half possible.
Yep. And Frank, because if it wasn't for Frank, I wouldn't have known about GP being on strike. So that's all on Frank. And Frank knows that we all feel the same way that Palestine, that it needs to stop. It needs to stop, and we do not agree with it, and we do not support it. Period.
And all of the
Right.
police accountability that went
Yep.
down here in the city, we did that.
Yep.
Our advocates, Frank was out there,
Yep.
always with the stereo system in his mic, and
And you with the school district. If it wasn't for you, Anella would still be there.
And during COVID, she voted for her own pay raise. That's what they did.
That's why they're all in those positions, because it's all about lining their pockets. Again, no one cares about what they should care about. It's just about what can I get.
Mm-hmm.
We're out here running ourselves ragged every day, trying to help everybody in the world, and no one cares. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, we have 2 minutes left. So we could go a little bit over for any last thoughts around the room before we share out 3 very important events coming up this weekend. Any last thoughts, Lauren, Frank, Nicole?
I would just say thanks everybody for helping move the conversation along. And it sounds like you're about to do events for this weekend, so I won't do mine because it's not till 2 weeks from now.
Let's hear it. Go ahead, real quick.
Well, because it was kind of on the Palestine tip, I've been working with Jose Cordon. He's going to dedicate this October session to Palestine, honoring the 1 year of the genocide. So we had our first meeting today, and we're going to have some Palestinian vendors, hopefully, some food out there, hopefully. Carlos, you're still welcome to come. But he said we could add a few vendors to the crew and rep the Palestinians. and then the poets. We're going to read some letters from Gaza, and I think EOS is going to read a letter from a famous poet that they took out in a missile strike and took out this poet. He wrote a famous poem called "If I Die." Let my I'm not going to be able to remember it now. If I die, let my something be a kite or a sail. It's a very famous poem. You could probably just Google Palestinian poem, If I Die. Anyway, so it's going to be a night of Palestinian poets, poems, and just poets dedicating some poems to Palestine. And I'm trying tomorrow to reach a very special guest. And if I do get that guest, we'll have a surprise poet. We won't reveal it. It'll only be to the people that show up, if it happens. So if it does happen, it'll be on the flyer. And we're working with Jose and the Grassroots Poetry. And you'll see the flyer coming out soon. And he makes two. So the second one, if I have my special guest, it'll be on that second one, that a special poet appearance, mystery.
All right. Last Friday of the month, y'all. Last Friday of every month at the Lynn House Gallery. You can connect, meet creatives, heal, share some poetry, hear some poetry, and just vibe. Support the vendors, support the folks that are out there selling their amazing gifts that they have, and the amazing food that comes through from Don Carlos and other folks that came out last time. So indeed, I send you the flyer. Let's see, transitioning to the next events. Jose Cordon, an amazing creative in the community. They are doing it's called Illegally Brown. It's a comedy show. So come on out. The first shows, I believe, are this weekend.
Saturday in the evening.
Saturday and Sunday.
And then it's going to go on, for 2 more days, And you can find out, you can look them up on Cordon Concepts, I believe. Yeah, I just spoke to him today. He told us all about it. I'm looking forward to going. I don't know if I can make it opening night, but I'm going to probably go the second day.
I'm going to go on the 20th. I'm going to be out of town visiting my beautiful sister that's coming from the Czech Republic. I can't wait. Don Carlos, when you can share that out. Thank you.
Yeah, I know you just sent me the flyer for a few events, but it's not letting me pull it up on here. So, but it will be on our Facebook page.
Oh yeah, Legally Brown.
There it is.
So the 20th.
And I'll remind folks one more time while you're doing that tomorrow's my Full Circle show, and Friday night 7 p.m. KPFA or kpfa.org. And if you guys heard the news on Tuesday, it was Student Solidarity Day, marking the 1 year anniversary. So Berkeley High School and middle school students walked out in the morning, and they blocked Shattuck Road, and they took it over. Nice. So I got all that on some video, and then that was at 10 in the morning. And then at 1 o'clock, UC Berkeley students walked out and gathered at Sproul Plaza and rallied there for 2.5 hours. I had to leave after 2 hours, but they were there. They were going strong when I left. And then in the night, they closed out with a big rally with students, faculty, staff, and labor. There was multiple unions that gathered on the Crescent Lawn of Berkeley campus. And I'm going to play sounds from a little bit from all those, but all the videos are on First Voice Media on Facebook. And check it out tomorrow, KPFA 94.1 or kpfa.org, 7 p.m.
Thank you, Frank, for the updates. And we got one more. Make sure y'all follow the pages that Frank just said. There's a unity walk tomorrow against violence. Friday, October 11th. Our community will be assembling at 10 a.m. at Genesis Church, 1800 Woodland Drive. The walk is at 11 from 18th to Sycamore Square. So there's a unity walk here in our little corner of the community in Antioch. There's a lot of healing that has to happen. There's been a lot of violence, and the answer to it will not be further like criminalizing and re-traumatizing, going that route. We need to come at this as from a community, from a holistic, to resolve these deep issues that's going on. So that's another event that's going on tomorrow. And then most definitely we cannot forget the Angelo Quinto family. I'm going to read their post, and if I get a chance tonight, I'll create another graphic and we're going to share it out to let people know that tomorrow at 9 a.m. there's going to be a very important hearing and press conference that's taking place. So the family of Angelo Quinto have challenged the sheriff coroner's determination that Angelo's death was an accident due to excited delirium, an unscientific medical diagnosis used to blame victims of police violence for their own death, and that has since been debunked. The respondent of the Contra Costa County Sheriff Coroner argues that the case should be dismissed because the family does not have legal standing to bring this action because they are not beneficially interested in the determination. Only Angelo has the legal standing to challenge his own death certificate. That is the legality
The
of
most
it.
ridiculous thing in the world.
And these are the policies that we have to change. We need to separate the coroners from the sheriff's office.
Yes.
That's another beast. So that will happen. The accountability matters. The truth matters. Policy matters. So we'll be meeting at 725 Court Street, Martinez. Frank here will be out there. Nicole, I'm gonna pick you up. If anybody needs a ride, we're going to either we're going to Martinez, but there's also the action out here to begin the healing and stand together.
Tamisha and then we'll be going on a walk.
Tamisha, Tiki, our church leaders, Genesis Church, community. We can't be everywhere in one place, but collectively we will split and we will make change.
Yes.
And quick update, they just sent me a message that court is at 9 a.m., not 9:30.
9.
So I plan on trying to get out there by 8:30 so we could hang out on the front steps for a little bit. And if you want to come support that. Carlos, are you going to do the walk tomorrow? Because I want to go film it, but I'm going to be stuck. I'm going to be in a crunch time after the Quintos. It's on you,
What
man.
time is that walk? That's at 10, right? 10 o'clock tomorrow?
The walk starts at 11, but
The
they're going
walk's
to
at
gather
10?
at 10. Because the court's at 9, so it's going to go at least an hour, and then they're going to do a press conference. So by the time we get out of there, it's going to be 10:30. You know, if you're going to go into the court and listen to it, and they also
That's
put a
in
little
Martinez,
side note.
huh?
Yes.
Yep, in Martinez. They put a little side note that said the tentative ruling looks horrible. So there must already be a tentative paper they put out. So they're already upset. So I'm already angry myself.
I'm angry when she told me that they told her that. I couldn't. The craziest thing in the world to me is they literally said to his mom, she doesn't have the right to change his death certificate. He is the only one who has the right. And I'm thinking, so he's supposed to come back alive and tell them to no, change my death certificate? Like, what kind of a stupid. Sometimes I just can't understand how these people even get to be in any of these positions and over anything. That's like someone saying, oh, someone died, a news reporter, someone died, and I tried to reach them for a comment but was unable to.
Hey, and you know what?
Nonsense.
They spoke to Davey D on Hard Knock Radio. I think it was yesterday. And when they told him that, he said, you know what? I would walk in there with a Ouija board and I'd move that thing around and I'd say, Angelo is talking to us right now. And he says, you don't think it was excited delirium. And he wants to laugh.
That's a good idea.
He wants to laugh, but it's so ridiculous.
That is how ridiculous.
But it's someone's son that had died.
Yeah.
She did say that last night.
They're saying that they can't challenge his death certificate.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Only Angelo can. And
right. That's that loophole. That's like with housing. There's always a loophole. They always find some type of stupid, ridiculous loophole all the time to keep you from doing what it is you need to do.
And
that's
with
why
these
they need to separate that sheriff from the coroner.
And this is why we need to attend any community forum that's going on in our counties. There is a community forum on October 14th. It'll be in Martinez. sharing these flyers. Let's meet these future decision makers.
Yeah.
Right.
Any last thoughts?
Oh, yes on Prop 33, no on Prop 34. Everyone out there needs to know that's important. We're repealing Costa-Hawkins. Yes on 33, no on 34, because 34 is trying to wipe out 33's yes.
Oh, wow.
Super important.
Love it. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Carlos. Carlos, you can close us out.
Again, thank you all for listening. And thank you guys for being on here. I got to say again, this is our 1 year anniversary. So I don't know if you guys can hear that. Is it going?
Can.
You did it, Carlos. You did it. You did
There
it.
it is. I can't even hear it. Anyways,
Happy to be here.
you know, 1 year. This is so awesome, you know, and look where we're at now. So want to say hi to Mary out there. She's at
Love
on
you,
vacation.
Mary.
I won't say where she's at, but she's having a good time.
Good.
It's good to decompress and de-stress.
And
Yeah, some forestry
vacation.
time.
So we'll see her back soon. And thank you all for tuning in out there. This is every Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, East County Voices. And thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click that bell for notifications for every time we come on. And we want to thank you guys again. Have a good night and God bless.
Oh, one more thing.
Oh.
Coco Go Big. Look out for Coco Go Big.
Yeah.
Look out for it. Look, if you see a Coco Go Big, share it.
Yeah.
That's our campaign. Guaranteed income. Let's go.
And we'll say goodnight to Bradley because he said hi to everyone. So good night, Bradley.
Good night, Bradley. Peace out. And